Hi YouTube. So I attended the Kaladesh Prerelease where I got this Kaladesh Prerelease pack, which opens like this. Slides out the side when you press the button. It's pretty cool. In addition to the cards, the promotional item was a origami thopter, which was not fun to assemble because I'm not very good at origami and I kind of messed it all up, but it doesn't matter. My promo rare for this pre-release was Padim, Console of Innovation, 3 and a blue, legendary creature Vidalcan Artificer, 1/4. Artifacts you control have hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest converted mana cost or tied for the highest converted mana cost, draw a card. So, this is not a very good card, I think. It's not even a very good commander. I did not play blue just because of my promo rare, because I did not have very good artifacts to, I guess, help me get that card draw engine. And the sad thing is that in my packs I got a second one, which was non-foil and basically kind of sad. For the rest of my rares, I got Confiscation Coup, 3 and 2 blue, sorcery, choose target artifact or creature, you get 4 energy counters, and then you may pay any amount of energy equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. If you do, gain control of it. So, in sealed, this card was good. I didn't play blue, so the people who played against me, it worked pretty well for them because they could steal any permanent. And I mean, it's like it's not as good as control magic or whatever, or that uncommon from M12 or something. That was 5 mana gain control of target creature. But if you're playing an energy themed deck, then I guess it's pretty cool. Plus, it's a story card, as you can see here. Citizens do not resist. This is for your safety. Tezzeret bids you to surrender your inventions. Now, so I guess that sort of hints towards the story of Aether Revolt. So the next rare I got was Animation Module. So this is part of a 3 artifact cycle. The other artifact is common, and the other one is uncommon. This one costs 1 generic. It's an artifact that whenever 1 or more 1/1 counters are placed on a permanent you control, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless servo creature token. Then you can pay 3 generic, tap it, and choose a counter on target permanent or player. Give that permanent or player another counter of that kind. So it's kind of like Proliferate, but it only affects 1 permanent or player. This card was decent if you're playing a lot of creatures with Fabricate, and I had very few creatures with Fabricate, but I still put it in my deck, just because, I mean, even though it's situational, it's a 1-drop, you can just play it out on turn 1 if you don't have anything to do, and if you play like Glinslith Artisan, you just, I guess, make him a 3/3 and also get a 1/1. So this card was pretty cool. And it worked well with the other mythic that I had, the other rare that I had, that I'm gonna show you in just a moment. Then I got Scrapcreep Scrounger. So I don't really like this card. It's 2 generic, 3/2 artifact creature construct. It can't block, and you can pay one in a black to exile another target creature card from your graveyard, and you can return this card to the battlefield from your graveyard. So it's like, it kind of reminds me of Despoiler of Souls, except it doesn't like penalize you as much to get it out on the battlefield, and it enters untapped. But I still don't think this card is that good, because on turn 2 you want a creature that can block and that can deal damage, and if you play this on turn 2, of course you can attack for 3 for every turn, but if you can't block, any incoming damage will not be prevented and you kind of lose out the early game. The highlight, I guess, one of the highlights from rares was Spirebruff Canal. It's the fast land, one of the new fast lands from the cycle. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. It gives you blue and red. So I'm pretty sure this is the best fast land you can get, and I am confident that it will retain quite a bit of long-term value. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. So the best thing that I got was Nisa, Vital Force. 3 and 2 green, Planeswalker Nisa, enters with 5 loyalty counters, so +1 makes you untap target land you control, and until the next turn becomes a 5/5 elemental with haste. That's still a land. -3 lets you return any target permanent from your graveyard to your hand. And -6, it gives you an emblem that whenever a land enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So this basically won me games just with its +1 because you can attack with a 5/5 every turn, and the the creatures that your opponents control were generally pretty small. So Nisa was MVP. So as I said earlier, animation module will work pretty well with Nisa because then if I play her out, I can pay an extra 3 if I have 3 open, and then just ultimate her right away and just get a bunch of cards. This is my deck for the pre-release. So the creatures are on top and then non-creature spells on the bottom. What I want to say about this deck is I think it did pretty well. It I really had fun playing this deck, but one of its weaknesses was it didn't have almost any creature removal, which is kind of what played against me, since some I couldn't deal with most of the bombs people were having, so I just had to hope that I win before they get their bomb, or that their bomb was an artifact. So I also just do a quick word about each card. So for the convert mana cost of 2, Consulate Skygate, 2 mana 04 Defender Reach, decent. I sideboarded this card in because I didn't have many flyers, and when people had flyers, they basically won on the game because I couldn't do anything against them. Kujar Seed Sculptor, 1 and 1 green for 1/2, and when it enters the battlefield, you can give any creature +1/+1 counter. So even itself, so it can be basically a 2 mana 3/2/3. So I really like this card because of the flexibility and just because it's very solid. Gearshift Ace, it's 1 and 1 white for a 2/1 first strike, and whenever it accrues a vehicle, the vehicles also get first strike. So this card is very good just as just by itself, because it's a 2/1 first strike, and first strike is a very powerful ability, and it just has very good synergy with cards like Chase Dragster. So I'll show you later what they can do. Editrial Hawk, 1 and 1 white for a 1/2 flyer. So Stormcrow, kind of, no? Well, better than Stormcrow because it gives you 2 energy, and whenever it attacks, you can pay 1 energy and give another target attacking creature that you control flying until end of turn. So you can have a flying train. For a 3 mana slot, I have pretty good cards. So first of all, Filigree Familiar, 3 generic for a 2/2 that enters the battlefield, gives you 2 life, and when it dies, you draw a card. It's a very good card. I mean, some people I think were calling out Solemn Simulacrum. I mean, this is nowhere near Solemn Simulacrum because it doesn't tutor for you, but it is very powerful card because it gives you life and it gives you card advantage, as well as being a decent blocker. So I really like this card, and the art is just very cool. This is a Gillian Sleeve Artisan, one of my favorite cards in this set. 2 and 1 white for a 2/2 Fabricate 1. So it can be a 3 mana 3/3, or it can be a 2/2 that gives you a 1/1. So extra blockers or extra power. This card was very flexible, and I really liked it. Next, Herald of the Fair, 2 and 1 white for a 3/2 that gives target creature a +1/+1 until end of turn when it enters the battlefield. I mean, I think this card was decent, but sometimes I just had to play it without giving anything +1/+1, or just without, I guess, any effects, because I didn't really want to attack. So this card was decent. The 4 mana slot has Chase Dragster. I mean, I could basically say that this is one of my top 5 cards in this set. It's 4 generic for a 6/1 vehicle with Trample Haste and Crew 1, so it synergizes incredibly well with Gearshift Ace. So you play Gearshift Ace, you play this out, you crew with Gearshift Ace, and you basically have a 6/1 Trample Haste and First Strike this synergy basically won me games because people can't do very much or anything against a 6-1 first strike, and it also has trample and haste. I mean, if they had like um, cards like Furious Reprisal or what is the other one? Chandra's Pyrohelix. I mean, this combo just basically gets wrecked. But if they do not play red or just do not have answers, this basically can win you the game just by itself. So next I have Pima Outrider, 2 and 2 green for a 3/3 trample, fabricate 1. Very solid card. You get a blocker or you just get a very good 4/4 trample body and for a very affordable cost. I really like this card. Um, Armorcraft Judge, 3 and 1 green for a 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each creature that has a 1/1 counter on it. Very good, plays out very good with this deck because it has quite a few fabricate creatures. Actually, not quite a few, actually like 3. But even if it comes down and draws you like one card, it's a decent body and card advantage is also very good. And then Propeller Pioneer, 3 and 1 white for a 2/1 flyer with fabricate 1. This is a very good card because if the opponent doesn't have answers to a 3/2, it's 3 damage in the air for I mean 4 is a decent cost. So 3 damage in the air is something that the opponent can't like afford to ignore. So it was a very good card, or just a 2/1 that gives you a blocker. Then I have one single 5-drop creature. Well, it's a vehicle. Aradara Express, the Hype Train. 5 generic for an 8/6 with Menace and Crew 4. So this card I only got to play like twice, and when I did, it did some work. I mean, the people would either refuse to block it because it would destroy their board, or they would block it and sacrifice a lot of creatures. So the eight attack with along with Menace just makes it a very fun card to play. Next, I have the 6 drops. One Wisp Weaver Angel, 4 and 2 white for a 4/4 flyer that blinks something when it enters the battlefield. So it can be very good with fabricate cards because you just get more servos, or I guess I guess heal the card that you want to heal, I guess, because sometimes after my Aradara Express did its attacks, it had like 3 health left, because and then you just blink it back in, and the opponent can't really deal with it very well. So the Wispy Angel was pretty good fire, so 4 damage in the air is pretty good. Then I have Cow Prowler, just a 6 mana 6/6, very good creature, because you just keep attacking. They have to either ignore it, but they can't ignore it for very long, or you just ping I guess kill off all their creatures one by one, because 6/6 is a very big body. So next to my non-creature spells, the Animagial module that I showed earlier works pretty well with the Fabricate cards. Blossoming Defense, I really like this spell. 1 green gives for an instant, gives you a 2/2 and gives the creature you want a 2/2 and hexproof. So this is a very good combat trick, or just counters a targeted effect. And I would like to compare it to Vines of Vastwood, because I mean, it gives you the 2 best things for just 1 mana. I mean, I think some people would argue that Vines of Vastwood is still better than this card, because you can just give hexproof or give 4/4, and 4/4 is much better than +2/+2. But I think this card is still very good, because you can either buff or you can protect. Next, Attune with Aether, 1 green for I guess a tutor effect for basic land, and you put it in your hand, you get 2 energy. I think this card is very good, because it's good for I guess mana fixing if you're playing 2 colors like me, and you will be in sealed at least. And it gives you 2 energy, so you can use that energy for your energy creatures. I think I only had 1 energy creature in this entire deck, which is Edgetrail Hawk, but I think that if you played green and you played a deck with a lot of energy using cards, this card would be very good, and it was still very good in this deck. Then Fragmentize, very good card. 1 white for a sorcery that destroys target artifact or enchantment with convert mana cost 4 or less. And since most of the vehicles would are cost less than 4 mana or 4 mana because you have to crew them, so it kind of reduces the cost. And it's sad that it's at sorcery speed, but I guess it's for balance. I think this card is very, very good, and it's going to be a sideboard staple. Prophetic Prism, 2 generic for an artifact. It draws you a card when it enters the battlefield, and you can pay 1 to give yourself 1 mana of any color. So a very good mana fixing card. Commencement of Festivities, 1 and 1 green, prevent for an instant, prevent all damage that will be dealt to players this turn. So you might think that this card is not very good, but I sided it in after losing a few games, and this card basically won me the game after my opponent had to they had to attack with all of their creatures in order to kill me. So they tapped themselves out. I played this. They have no defenses, and I won the game because of this, because I attacked them with my creatures. So, I mean, if you have a player who doesn't really know this card or doesn't think through very well, they will just tap all of their creatures out and then lose. Or I played against a player who was about to kill me, but they didn't tap all the creatures out because they were playing around this card. So that was a good player, and I couldn't win the game with this card, but I like this card. Pressure Point, 1 and 1 white, tap target creature, instant. Draw a card, so pretty good for pushing through damage, or if they leave a few blockers, and you have lethal, you can just tap their blocker and they can't block your damage and you win the game. And drawing card is also nice. Appetite for the Unnatural, 2 and 1 green for destroy target artifact or enchantment at instant speed, and you gain 2 life. So it's like, it's not worse or better than Fragmentize, but for cards like Aradara Express, this is very good because you destroy this very dangerous card. Or cards like Multiform Wander, which I found actually is amazing in limited, and people were very underrated that card a lot. So you can just keep it in your hand until they play it out, destroy it, and they no longer have their bump card. And the MVP of this deck, Nissa, Vital Force. So I already showed you this card earlier, and this card is very good and limited. People cannot deal with the walkers very well, so it gives you a 5+4+1. It gives you a 5/5 blocker that, or a beater. So you just attack them for 5 damage every turn, and you can still tap it for mana if you leave it as a blocker. So all of these abilities are relevant, but I mostly just use the +1 ability because people try to get rid of it very fast, so I couldn't really get to the ultimate ever, I think. Or I mean, I could, but I just didn't use it because then it would sacrifice Nissa. So the ultimate itself is actually very good because it's not very hard to activate at all, and it's a very good ability because you basically draw a card every turn after you play a land. So this card won me games. I mean, the first game that I played, I got it right on turn 5, and the opponent couldn't deal anything to it. They couldn't do anything to it. So it can win games. So overall, a decent deck. Lacks removal, which is its biggest weakness, but it was very fun to play. So some of the highlight cards, I mean, I liked all of these cards, but some of the highlights were Gearshift Ace, of course, Nissa Vital Forge, Filigree Familiar. I mean, I really like this. I really like this deck. So I might, after playing with Overchoice Jactor and Gearshift Ace, I might make like a casual vehicles deck where it's just Gearshift Ace, Overchoice Jactor, and like Ardar Express, and like maybe splash put some red in and just make a cool vehicle deck. So yeah, this deck was very fun to play. I won 2 of my games and lost 3, so I wasn't able to get to the prizes tier, but I guess it doesn't matter. I had fun. I was playing against good players, bad players, and I learned a lot about Magic while I was at this tournament. Well, it's not really a tournament. it was just this event, and I also attended it with my friends, so it was way more fun. Um, yeah. Thank you for watching this video. These I guess series of videos about my Kaladesh pre-release. I cracked some packs while I was at the pre-release as well, and I guess I'll just show them really quick. They're not really relevant to Kaladesh, but in between games I just wanted to buy some packs and crack them. So from a Battle for Zendikar pack, got this trash. I got one Modern Masters pack because I told my friends that if I win my next game, I'll buy this, and I did win my next game. So from my Modern Masters pack, I got all this dust. It's a very decent card, actually very good card. Um, then I just bought a random Shadows over Innistrad pack. Got a Diagraph Colossus. I don't really know how zombies are doing right now. I know Prized Amalgam has gone up in price. I don't know about this, but I don't know if zombies are a thing anymore or a thing now. So, I mean, I think it was the first rare that I ever opened from Shadows. So throwback. Um, then I opened the One Oath of the Gatewatch pack and got a Sphinx of the Final Word and then foil Eldrazi Mimic. I mean, uh, I guess Sphinx of the Steel Wind is, or the Final Word is decent. It's basically like a worthless mythic, but I kind of like the card. It's a 5 mana, can't be countered, flying hexproof, and your instants or sorceries can't be countered. So I mean, how could you deal with a 5/5 flyer with hexproof? Just with a, I don't know, flying death touch or something. And Eldrazi Mimic is just a cool card for a Eldrazi deck because it's a two mana 2/1. But if you play a 3-drop, it can also become the 3-drop stats of that 3-drop that you just played. And I might give this to my friend because I don't play Eldrazi. So Kaladesh pre-release was fun. I'm really looking forward to Aether Revolt pre-release and any pre-releases that are to come. I might make a video opening a bundle sometime soon, maybe. So thanks for watching.